Hey everybody, and welcome to our live. I am so excited that you're able to join us today. This is uh, a momentous day. We actually have so much to celebrate, and before we get to our big reveal, the biggest part of today is it is my daughter Beth's birthday, and Beth is helping out behind the scenes. Sorry, Beth, this is on your birthday, but I love you. Mom loves you. Hey, Mama, you gonna say hi?
Happy birthday, Bethany.
Awesome. So Mama Deer is in the house, and I think James Deer and Jesse Deer are standing by as well. So this is going to be fun. You might have seen that we have a new program that we are announcing called the Design Doodler. And I do have a couple of special guests that I'm going to bring.
Hey, John,
Yep.
is your mic on?
Should be.
James says he can hear me loud, not you.
Okay, that might be better maybe. Test 1, 2. Okay, I think I'm better now, guys. I apologize about that. I guess I better do that right from the beginning. So for once, I was all ready. I thought there'd be absolutely no technical difficulties except for I forgot to turn my receiver on my mic. So for those of you who didn't hear me, today is a special day because we have an announcement for a new program, the Design Doodler, and we are super stoked about that. But even more importantly, it is my daughter Beth's birthday. So Beth, happy birthday. I know she's helping out. I guess you already heard Mom, right? Mama Deer's okay? Okay, so we're good now. I do have a couple of special guests that I'm going to bring in pretty much right away, and they were both very instrumental with helping to get the Design Doodler launched on time and to help us work out, I guess, all the stuff that goes along with releasing a product like this. So I do have in the house Daryl the artist, and we also have Linda. Hey, guys.
Hey, everyone.
Hey there.
Awesome. So I appreciate you guys coming on, and you're going to, I guess, assist with helping me to explain the Doodler. And the reason why is the Doodler has been in the works for about 2 years. So it's a couple years that we have actually been working on this program. And it was developed by one of the world leaders in software development in the embroidery industry, somebody who I have personally known for, I think, 2.5 decades, and I've worked with them on many occasions, Pulse Microsystems. So I have to take my hat off to them because they did an incredible job. And I'm not a programmer, so that's not my I guess, area of expertise. I'm a digitizer. And I was able to tell them exactly what I wanted within the software and how I wanted it to behave based on my experience as a digitizer so that it would produce what I think is incredible results with limited amount of I guess not having a big learning curve. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyways, that was the whole idea behind the Design Doodler. And then knowing that I am not really an artist, I'm a copy artist. And I think I'm somewhat creative, but I was proven last year around this time that I'm not as creative as I think I am, because Linda and I had a little face-off for our Halloween contest, and I just got blown out of the water. Yeah. So anyways, Daryl, I'm glad that you were participating, because then I would have really been humbled. But I knew for a fact that my area of expertise is digitizing, and there are people who are very creative and artistic. So if you're like Daryl or Linda, you are just going to be amazed and in awe what you can do. But if you're like me and you, I guess, have a little bit of creative ability, but you're not necessarily artistic, then that's where the Doodler is amazing as well. So I'm going to just bring up one slide here, guys, just so that we can see the Design Doodler. And I do have a quick little video that I'm going to play that hopefully will visually explain this. And I will mention that James did this video, and he's been working around the clock, and so is Jesse. So it's been all hands on deck for the last little bit. So we'll just play this, and then we will come back in, if I can find it. Hold on one sec, guys. So here is the Design Doodler in action. You know how kids flip through things like that on iPads? It's amazing. So, anyways, that kind of shows what the Doodler does. And the one thing that I'm going to say before I guess try to be quiet and let you take over first, Linda, is that it is a program that is PC based. So you actually are able to use it on your computer. It is serial number activated, so it's not quite the same way as Hatch, where it is activated, I guess, with internet having to be on. So it is a PC-based program. And the really cool thing is it also has an accompanying app. And if you have an iPad, and if you have a finger, or you have a pen, you can just make this thing fly, and you can basically doodle anywhere and communicate between the two. So, Linda, you and both Daryl have been, I guess, helping me with beta testing. How long has it been now?
Maybe since last December, Daryl.
Yeah.
We've been testing it for a while, and I'm
Yes.
really impressed with what it does. Really.
Thank you. Well, I thought it was almost done last December, and that's when I thought, okay, it's performing pretty well. Let's give it to you guys. And then we really got to work, I think, because we have spent a lot of time and energy, and I can't thank you guys enough for assisting with that. But Linda, tell me, I guess, a little bit about what you think about the Doodler, why it is a Doodler, not a digitizer, and maybe you could show us some of the cool stuff that you did.
Well, what I found is that it's kind of brought back some artistic. I'm a doodler, like I'm talking on the phone or whatever, but this program you can actually doodle on an iPad or doodle on a pen tablet, and it turns it into stitches. It's like magic. So there's a lot of tools in here that are like you're familiar with in any digitizing program, but they're all operated with a pen. So you're just going to go ahead and draw on the screen. I like to bring in some photographs into like a third-party app, which will then help give me a little inspiration, if you will, because if I look at a blank screen, I don't know where to begin. So I had taken a picture. This is of the Tower Bridge. I happened to be on holiday last year, and I brought it into an app called Graphite, and it turns it into kind of sketch work. So I can bring this in on the Doodler as a backdrop. Where people are familiar with it called artwork, but in the Doodler, it's called the backdrop. And you just simply take your pen. This is all done in running stitches, and you just doodle on top. You can save it as it's the JDX file in the Doodler, and then bring it into your machine file format, or you can bring it into an embroidery program that you have. You can add other designs to it. But
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? First of all, I am really super excited because JDX is a file format that stands for John Deere. So number one, I'm super excited that I have a file format named after me.
Jennifer Deere.
Oh, sorry, no, it's actually named after Jennifer Deere, apparently.
There you go.
Either way, I'll take it.
Smarter.
Or it could be James Deere, or it could be Jesse Deere. Beth, I'm sorry, I should have named you Jessica. It was really close, but anyways, we would have had all J's. But the other thing I did want to ask you, when you did that with the sketch and the pen tool within the Doodler, how did it run on the machines? Was there any trims or anything?
Well, because you've incorporated this, now I'm going to forget the name of the tool, click to anchor. So when you lift up your pen, there's a little black dot. And when you want to restart to make a new connection, so you eliminate a jump and a trim, you'll see a little red circle. And when you start doodling right after that, it will connect all those stitches together. So it eliminates jumps and trims. So this one, it literally, it did not have any jumps or trims, because I could just keep picking up where I left off and continue to doodle. So, I mean, the stuff you can do, I mean, it's amazing. You can do, I've taken it to the limit, and like, this is like a raw edge applique. So you don't have to just doodle. You can do in the hoop stuff. You know, and this will be one of the lessons coming out. So they'll show you how to do some color blending, but it is just it's kind of addictive once you get kind of in your zone and just start doodling. It's great fun. What do you think about it, Daryl? I'm so excited to see all your classes, and because you've taken it to the next level.
Oh, it's very intuitive. Being a cartoonist, more than anything else, I've taken up embroidery as a hobby, and within Hatch, I created my cartoon drawings, but the design doodlers brought it up to another level. I have like, I'll do a drawing on my computer and I'll print it out and I'll bring it into my design doodler, and it almost looks like the same thing.
Oh my God.
I think I've seen that one before.
Yeah. But I love the fact that I can recreate my illustrations in thread without a lot of knowledge about how things work. Yeah, you can go in, you can adjust your underlay, you can do all these sorts of things, but a lot of the stuff you can do, you just do with the defaults. And you don't really need to know a lot of stuff. And you keep your template handy, so you know all the different, these are all basically all the defaults within the design doodler. And it shows me exactly what I need to do as far as how thick I want.
You made yourself a little recipe card.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right?
no, it worked great. And this is sort of similar to the design that Linda had. It's all running stitches. There's a few fills in there, and I did the outline with the steel satin stitch, but that's all running stitches. And that basically was connected as I went along using the anchor. But the steel stitch that goes around it, and the steel stitch that's on the satin stitch, steel stitch that's on the outline of this, I didn't worry about connecting them. I just drew them all, and I knew they were all going to touch. So I just drew them as I would normally draw a picture on my other drawing programs. And then I used what's called the automatic branching tool. And that just combined all of it together into one object and didn't really add a lot of stitches to it. It was great. I mean, this is one I did quickly on the iPad. And that's a pretty cute little guy there. And it didn't take long. I refined it. I did it on my iPad sitting on the couch. And then I exported it out so I could open it up on my desktop and then refined it a little bit. It worked out great. And then, here's another one. This one is my initial beginner tutorial that'll be within the package.
Hey, super cool.
A simple cartoon drawing of a baby that's digitized. And this was so easy, so simple. I mean, that's basically, except for the underlay that I added to it, it's all basically the default settings. It's, I was telling John earlier, when I draw on my iPad on a drawing program, I'm sitting on the couch drawing on it, and that I will import or export out to my tablet, my art tablet, and I will finish it off in there. I do exactly the same thing with Design Doodler. It's I barely use Hatch anymore because for a cartoonist, Design
the
Doodler.
quality of the work. I mean, and that's just layering up different fills. And I'm like Daryl, I've got my recipe card where I showed the different densities. So it's just layering and having fun and giving yourself the ability to color outside the lines and just be creative. And I've kind of discovered my own little style, just doing what I've been doing, and it's awesome. So I'm really excited to see where everybody takes it.
You can even, if you are a cartoonist or an artist and you like to draw on a tablet, you don't even need the backdrop artwork. You can just draw it directly onto the iPad. John was talking about having his grandson just sit there and play with it, and it's intuitive.
It really is.
With his, it was kind of cute because he created a design, And of course, it's kind of like looking at the clouds when you look at, you know, a 6-year-old's artwork. So I said, oh, that is a really cool penguin playing hockey. And he was like, no, it's a dinosaur, you know. So anyways, it's so much fun that even a child can do it. And because all of the, I guess, defaults are built in, I like to call them, you know, autopilot. It kind of keeps you within the safe boundaries. Even a 5 or 6-year-old can doodle, and you can export that to a machine and know it's not going to have a you know, accident on your machine. It actually is super easy, super cool, and fast. Now, one thing I will just mention really quickly, because I want to make this 100% clear: the Design Doodler is not a program that is meant to replace any software that you currently own. It's not a lettering program. It's not a layout program. It is not you know, editing program, and it is not a digitizing program. You would not want to create corporate logos with the Doodler because you're doodling. It is a program that is unique unto itself and doesn't, you know, if you have Hatch or Floriani or Stitch Artist or the, you know, Bernina, Janome software, whatever software you have, this is not in any way replacing something that you currently own. This is a new thing all on its own, and it does actually work. That's the key. And that was my part to it, which I'll show a couple little things afterwards, but I kind of engineered this so that it would give people the best results with having little or no embroidery experience. That was my goal.
Well,
Can I also point out that you don't have to be an artist?
What's that, Jennifer?
I said, can I also point out that you don't have to be an artist?
Yes. Yeah. You don't have to be an artist. And that's very true, because I actually have well, I shouldn't say no, but I have very little, and I mean very little, artistic ability. If you give me, I'd be embarrassed, Daryl, to sit down beside you, but if you give me a pad and some paper and a marker, I will draw a stick figure. But if you give me a piece of artwork or an, you know, I guess iPad that can take a photo, put it in an app that converts it to watercolor or stitch or sketch work, then I can bring that in and I can basically trace and doodle. So it's very cool.
That's what I've done. I mean, I have not started with a blank canvas. I always have a backdrop for me, and then you can just get creative and try the different tools. I want to add a fill or layer something up. I mean, you can do just simple little designs, just simple sketch work. And it's just very easy and intuitive to use. So you put all those great tools in there, John. So and you can bring it into your embroidery software too. So I brought designs in and have added lettering, or I'll duplicate it and flip it. So you can, it's like an enhancement to your embroidery software. So it's it's the best of both worlds.
But I will mention on that note, you can bring in a PES file or you know, whatever format you want, but you cannot edit that file within the Doodler. The way you bring it in, it comes in. You can use it as part of the design and start doodling around it. But I just want to be very, very clear that this is not something that competes with a program that you already own.
No.
Yeah. Cool. So, anyways, guys, I know that you guys have played with it a lot. In actuality, you've played with it more than I have. But what is your, I guess, your honest evaluation overall as far as embroidery, and I guess with you, Daryl, using it almost like an art program?
Yeah, no, that's like I said, it's intuitive. It's and it's the placement of everything is easy. I mean, you know, Hatch is a great program. I use it for when I do my patches and stuff like that. But when I'm drawing, I want a minimal amount of interference on the screen. I want to be able to select all the stuff I want really easy on that screen, and everything's there. I don't have to go hunting for everything.
Cool.
It's all there. It's great. It reminds me of a drawing program.
Awesome. And
really,
Linda, anything to add?
Think of it as more like, you know, an adult coloring book or a child's coloring book. If you bring in the backdrop, you can do the outlines, you can fill it in just as you would be coloring with crayons. But I of course, as I always do, try to take it to a different level. But I'm doing, you know, raw edge applique. That's just all done, you know, in the Doodler. another little gnome guy. So there's lots of creative possibilities. Here's like an in the hoop little quilt pattern. So that was all done with the stitches in the doodler, and then I just stitched it out as I would my embroideries on it. But the quality of the stitch outs are unbelievable.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the proof is always in the stitching.
It
That's
is.
what I've always said, and that was another, I guess, hurdle that I had to kind of get past with wanting to help engineer and the way the tools interact. Is I wanted to make sure that it did not create hard stitches as you're doodling and doing crazy corners and all that kind of stuff. And there are other tools in there that allow you to change things very easily. When we get into this, and if you guys do watch the intro lesson that I've done, which is about an hour long, you can see that it has a lot of very simple tools, but the I guess the programming behind the scenes, and then the ability to go in and edit stuff, and we're talking about the JDX files, there really is very little limitations to what you can do with this program.
You take a deep dive into the editing of that. It's great.
Yeah, so it is really, really, really cool. So I'm going to show a couple more slide guys, and we can talk through them. So I know some of these are your designs, Linda, but this one here, we did sort of a before and after. And I think this is one of the first ones that you showed me when you started with this.
I was shocked when I did that. Really, it was. I just started sketching over that, and then that's when I started really exploring the different fill patterns. And then in the doodler, it's called an inclination, which is the stitch angle. So you can change the densities, layer different colors on top of each other, and get some really pretty shading effects. But most of it are just, the outline was just just a stroke of my pencil on the screen and with a running stitch. So that's all it was. Running stitch in the field.
This one I actually did just, and again, Jennifer has told me on numerous occasions that I am not allowed to digitize any more skulls, but I always try to slip a few in here and there. So I get in skulls wherever I can, but same thing with this. I tried almost to replicate Daryl's style a little bit, because I had really only done sketch work originally for a while. I was using the pen tool with the running stitch and just being a little artistic. But with this one, I took something and I tried to replicate kind of how you would do it, Daryl, with using the fills and the outlines. And I was, impressed. This design maybe took me 12 or 13 minutes to finish off. It really wasn't that long at all. And this is one of my favorites that you did, Linda. This is just so cool. And you did change some directions on the leaves of the fill, which added, I guess, sort of some depth to the leaves. But the beauty of the flowers is they're all really one stitch structure.
Yes, all the black lines are just one, because that snap to anchor. And yeah, you just pick up where that little black dot is, you'll see a red circle, and you're off onto your next little segment or of the design, and it connects perfectly.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go into the doodler real quick, guys, and just give everybody a little guided tour. And let's see here. Hold on one sec. There we go. Okay, this is the last one I did. Again, sorry, Jennifer, I threw in some skulls there, but I promise. The cool thing about this program also is it is not what I would consider a really expensive program for what it does. The regular price is $3.99, and because this is just launched, and I don't know how long Jesse has put this on sale for, but it is actually $100 off. And it is $2.99. You get the PC version and the accompanying app that comes included with the software. And you also get the interactive lessons. And I do have to point out, Linda, do you want to point that out real quick? Because
you get my Doodler Wit Linda series.
Wit Linda. So there's a mistake there. My fault. I'm sorry, guys. But if you know anything about me, Jennifer, do I have some problems when it comes to... anyways, okay. So we have an intro lesson that I did, which shows you how to use the software and where all the tools are, and that's about an hour long. And then I give you a very basic lesson to follow. But what I really wanted to do is not focus on myself so much, but I wanted to show people what other doodlers could do. So we have Linda and Daryl both did a beginners, an intermediate, and an advanced lesson, each in their own style, and those are absolutely free for for anybody who purchases the Doodler. So I've always said any software is as good as the education that comes with it. And I think we've tried to do that with Hatch over the course of the last few years. But with the Doodler, that is going to keep on going the same way. We're going to have a lot of interactive education to teach you how to be as creative as you can possibly be. Cool. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add?
I guess it comes with the artwork, so you can bring in that artwork into the program and use that in the tutorials. Am I correct?
Yep. Yeah. Actually, what will happen, anybody who wants to get the Doodler today, you'll get the program. We will send you out the serial number and the installation for it. You can load it on your PC, go to the App Store. It is for iPad only. You can't doodle on your phone, okay? But on an iPad, you can download the app. It'll ask you for the exact same serial number, and then you'll be active with the Doodler. And there is a couple of different file formats. There is a JDX for the PC version and a JDS for the iPad version. So they do communicate with each other. And we go over all of that information within the intro video. So we'll get you set up and doodling as quickly as possible. So that's kind of cool. And I did want to also let you know that on December 10th, I am going to do a little bonus webinar where anybody who purchases, I will do a live webinar that'll be specifically a Q&A where we can dive deep into any questions that people have regarding the program. And we will more than likely continue on with more webinars in the future. I mean, if you're on Facebook and you think that's a good idea, give us some hearts and thumbs up. But it's all about education, having fun. And just to follow that up, we do have a new Design Doodler Facebook group. So this is going to be a group that is specifically for doodlers. And you can ask to join, a couple simple questions, and we will have a ton of interactive education. We're going to have videos on YouTube. I'm going to be doodling my little handoff and creating all kinds of fun stuff. I love to digitize, and now I love to doodle, and it's just so easy and so fast. So cool, awesome. So if I'm going to open up the program real quick and just give you guys a quick little lesson. If you, Daryl and Linda, want to chime in as to some of the stuff that I'm doing, just let me know. But this is what the Doodler looks like, just so you guys can see. And if I look at this screen overall, sorry, I got to put on my glasses, and I have to make sure I grab the right pen, because the pen on the iPad is different than the pen on the tablet. This does work if best on a, I guess, PC monitor. So if you are using this just on your PC, you'll want to have a monitor that has a pen. And later on, we will put up some resources or places where you can get one of these. The price has come down on these in a gigantic way. I was showing Linda the other day a model that I found that you can get for $250 now. And anybody who does any graphics within, whether it's embroidery or whether it's vinyl cutting or anything that you do, I think having a monitor with a pen is probably the best thing for any hobby. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
I've been using art tablets for probably 12, 13 years now.
Yeah,
Cool.
it just makes it really easy. And like you said, John, you can combine it with all the other fun things you have in your workrooms with your embroidery and cutting and all that kind of good stuff.
Cool. Well, I'll just bring in this one. This is the same one that I use for my lesson when I actually did the 20-minute lesson when people get the software. Again, I give you the artwork and the file. But when I bring in my artwork, the only thing I have to do, and you can turn it off or on, is I bring in my artwork, I select it, I go to my little property floater, and I make sure I turn on the aspect ratio, maintain it. I'm going to make this 4 inches high and wide, change it to a 0 point just so it's centered onto my screen, hit the enter button. I do have 1:1, 3:1, and 6:1. If you've taken any of my education, yeah, that might kind of ring a little bit of a bell as far as why we digitize at those scales. And you do also have the little pan here, so you can pan around. And then I have my widget that has all my tools. But doodling something, I can bring this one up, turn a green color, tell it I want to do a fill with the freehand shape, do a little bit of a lesser density, and I can come right in here and I can just go around really quickly. And that is as fast as you can create an object. And I can just go over here and I can do the exact same thing, go over to my tool and I can go around this one. And again, I can just very, very quickly doodle around an object and create all these objects. So it literally takes, minutes to create something. And the stitch results are actually really good. I think that's what amazes a lot of people. There are different patterns of fills that you have available for this. So you can choose different fill patterns. You can change inclinations. You can change the underlay. But where this program really does excel is with some of the automation. And this is the part that I really tried to make sure that it worked properly. If I choose, let's say, a satin stitch, and I come and start this satin stitch, you can see it's drawing a line, but when I stop, it actually finished the object here. And and actually I got to go to this because I know something's off right now. Actually, it is showing on, so that's good. But I know that if I start here and keep going, it's going to always continue within the program, and it's not going to give me any trims as I go along. So as I'm moving forward,
awesome.
Yeah, so it just automatically continues that, and it does that for a running stitch as well. So there is a snap to anchor, and that's what the snap to anchor does, is it literally comes in here and it allows you to draw your objects, and then when you pick up again at that same point, it continues on with those objects. Normally a little red dot appears, but I think because I'm actually in Melon, it's not appearing for me.
Oh, yeah. You'll see once they're in that red dot appears. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do have
it
to point out here, John, that what I talked about before is everything you need is right there.
Exactly.
You don't have to go searching through files and windows and all these things. Everything's right there. Once you get used to using the program, everything you need is right on that screen.
And you can, you're not hunting around with drop downs or anything. And the widget I love because you can place it where you want, and you have a running stitch, a satin stitch, a fill stitch, a bean stitch. You have a tapered edge stitch. You have a calligraphy stitch. You have a pressure sensitive. You have appliques, and the appliques you can actually use motifs as well. There's a whole bunch of built-in motifs. So there is just so much to play with in this program. In a demo like this, I am not even going to come close to scratching the surface. But if I want to, create a heart, I can just do that, and I've got a heart created. And if I want to put a border around that heart, I can come here and I can just draw that. Oops, actually that was the wrong one. And you have unlimited undos as well, so you don't have to worry about that. But I can take a gold color now, come here, and let's change that to that one. And choose this, and now I can, did I choose that? Yep, okay. So now I can come here and I can just outline right around there. And the software also does kind of give you a thing where it does clean up your lines. So if you have a shaky hand like I do, when it looks all shaky as you're going, but when you're done, it comes out nice and clean, which kind of amazes me. Now, if I look at this now and I turn off the 3D, and I grab that one object that I just created, I also have a close shape feature that will close the shape of that object as long as I've grabbed the wrong one, which I didn't. I grabbed the fill, and I could tell because it didn't close it. But if I grab that object and close the shape, it automatically closed the shape on there and gave me a wonderful looking piece.
Corners.
Yeah. And if you talk about corners, there is corners that you have options to go into your properties. And this is where it's like, peeling back an onion in reality, because when you look at the objects and the properties within this program, I can grab this piece right here and I can change the width of the stitch. I can change the density of it. I can change the angle of it. I can change the inset if I'm trying to outline it. I can change the type of corners at a click of a button. I can change the style, whether I want mitered or auto turned. I can come in here and adjust underlay commands. Again, this is going to be a very short live because there's an hour-long video that goes into all of the settings that you can do with this. But they're actually, for something that's kind of automatic, once you do dive into it, there is the ability to create professional results with a very simplistic program.
We have lots of questions to get to.
Okay, so lots and lots of questions, but before we go to the questions, that was a really quick demo, guys. Should I throw anything else in there? But there are so many things. I mean, one thing I will add, and I know, Linda, you really like this one because you do have a commercial machine, and even people who do have a machine where you have the problem, let's say you create a design and you have a bunch of objects that are kind of close together, but they're not far enough apart, and they're not, so they're so close that when it actually stitches, it actually stops the object and creates a jump over to the next one and doesn't actually trim those areas. And I know that drives people crazy, or drives a lot of people crazy. And the one thing that we did build into this is you can go into each of your objects and you can tell it to force a trim and a jump command so that you no longer have to cut out things with scissors.
That's right. And I'll show that in my lessons. I point that out because it is a really handy tool.
Cool. Yeah. Now, I will show really quickly here, guys, and then we'll take some questions. And I'll let you guys answer some questions as well, because I'm pretty sure you'll probably know more of the answers than I do. As I may have come up with some of the ideas for this, but you guys have played with this software more than I have. Let me just go to actually here. I'm going to hide you guys. Sorry, go ahead.
I do have to disagree with one thing you said.
Okay, go ahead.
You called it a simplistic program. It's simple to use. It's not simplistic.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
it's on that, Daryl.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is simplistic to use, but it isn't simple. I mean, there is so much that you can go in there. The editing tools with being able to control the Beziers and the objects and just everything that's in there, it is serious behind the scenes. That's for sure. So I'm going to hide you guys for 1 second just so that I get a big shot of the iPad, because I know people are going to want to see the iPad in action. And one thing I will say about the iPad is this app actually does work. It looks exactly the same as the PC version. And 95% of the tools and everything that are there are exactly the same. The only reason why you might want to take your files and go to your PC is because you have a bigger monitor. And it's easier to edit your files. But you can do pretty much.
You also have to use the PC version to export the actual machine file.
That's right. That's right. The iPad version does have a JDS file, which is a John Deere or a Jennifer Deere save file. So it will actually save that. So I'm going to just, I'll bring you guys back in 1 sec. So hold on. Okay, guys, I just want to show you this real quick. I'm going to switch my screen over so that you can see the iPad. There is the iPad version of the program. And if I grab this object right here, and I'm going to go to my properties, I can come in and create a little bit of opacity in that design so I can see the background. That just makes it a little easier when I zoom in, and I'm going to pan over so I can do all of this with my finger. And then I can go to my digitizing tools, and I'm just going to go to a run. I'm going to use the freehand, and I'm going to use, let's say, a 2 millimeter stitch length. And now all I have to, and let's choose a color that you'll be able to hopefully see on screen. So I'll choose red. And now I'll try to keep my hand out of the way so you can see it in the camera. But if I'm doing this, this is how fluid the actual app works. I mean, it is live time, and it generates the stitches. And if I'm creating a design like this, I'm literally just coming here, sitting on the couch, and I am drawing at a 6:1 scale. And that is one thing I will say. I do like the fact that I built in my scales. You can zoom into whatever size you want. But one thing that I've taught for years is that if you are consistent with how you create detail, then what you see on the screen and what you saw on the machine will always be the same. So it is as simple as that. And when I go and pick up that color again, I just have to make sure that I start on that same dot. And then it will not actually create a trim or a tie out or a tie in. It will just continue to sew out until I start somewhere else. and then it will create a line. And that one was one of those situations where it wasn't really far enough at 6:1, but you can go into the commands of these objects, into the properties of them, and I can say to this object right here that I want to create a command, and I'm going to put actually right here at the beginning of that command, I'm going to put in a jump stitch, and then I'm going to go into the previous object right here. And at this one, I'm going to come in and I'm going to tell it that at the end of the command, I want it to actually have a trim. So I created a trim. And now if you look, I have a staggered line. So if you've ever done anything in your software program, and I know you have, where you get those areas that they're objects that are kind of far enough apart where you think they should trim, but they actually don't. And you can go, and this will show you, because as you saw before, it showed you a solid line. Even though there's a tie in and a tie out, you see the solid line, and that's sort of telling you that, okay, you probably should have put a little more space between those objects, but if you didn't, you don't have to undo it and start from scratch. You can just go in there, add those trims and jumps, and the software will take care of it. And the most important thing is this actually does so well on the machine. We have tested that, and that is my biggest thing, is I wanted to make sure that when people are doodling and they just bought a machine, they just get the Doodle software, and they start creating stuff, and follow a bit of our instructions first, please. It's always good to watch the videos, but you will get results that actually do so out well, which that's kind of unheard of when people buy other software like digitizing programs. There's a substantial learning curve, and we'll help you get past that too. If you do have digitizing software, we have education to get you past that. But this is kind of an autopilot program that will get rid of a lot of the frustration.
It's fun just to watch that doodle come to life on the machine.
Oh,
yeah, I love that.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Cool. So Jennifer, we have some questions. Do you want to throw them at us now?
Yes, let me scroll all the way up to the top because we do have a lot.
I have to figure there. That's a good view.
Okay, one of the main questions was obviously it's.
Can you speak up a little bit? Sorry, go ahead.
What do you download this onto?
What do you download the program onto? Okay, so it does come with a PC. It's a PC program. So any laptop, any PC that you have, you will be able to install the executable file. It's like a regular program. It will install. It will ask you for the serial number. And as soon as you load the serial number in, it will become fully active and allow you to save embroidery files. Then we will give you a link to an accompanying app on the Apple Store. And it is an iPad app. And all you do is download that app. Again, put in the same serial number, and your app will be fully functional as well. So it's pretty simple. Did you guys have any issues loading the app or the software?
No.
No.
Pretty simple.
Okay, does it work on an Android?
Does it work on an Android? No, it does not. It is engineered specifically for an iPad. At this point in the future, who knows? But I can't begin to tell you how much engineering went into this to get where we are now. So.
Okay, and when you say PC, are you mean a Mac since it's only available on an iPad?
That is, let's put it this way. When I say it is PC, it is a Windows-based program that we do have an app, an Apple app for. I know that might sound confusing. We do not have a Mac version of the program for a Mac. You could run it with Parallels or Boot Camp or something like that, but it is not, the PC version does not have an accompanying Mac version to work with it, but we do have a iPad app that does go with it.
Okay, does it run on a Surface tablet?
Will it run on a Surface tablet? Yes, definitely will.
How about Wacom? And I've also heard.
Yeah, it will run. I mean, if any monitor, and that's where I kind of, and I know this is actually the model that I found recently, because I know you have the X Pen, I believe.
X Pen, yes.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you have a Wacom, Daryl?
Yeah, I have a Wacom Cintiq.
Yeah, and I use the Cintiq as well, but I do have a couple of Yuions, and I have another one that I haven't used in a while. And now I have 3 of these because we wanted to do testing. But this
Ooh.
is one that I just picked up on Amazon, and we will have links in a couple days on our site for that one. And that one, I wanted to test it first, which I did because it was for a 22-inch monitor. It was $299, and that was on
Wow.
Prime, which that tells you that the cost of entry for pen monitors has literally dropped like 40% from some of the other brands. My Ueon that I purchased, I have a 22-inch Ueon. That one was, I think, $460 or something. So for $299, if you have, yeah, it's a bargain, and it basically plugs into a laptop or a PC, or it has drivers, so you just calibrate the screen and it gives you the pen, which is the most important thing, and that way you can draw on your screen. If you have a touch screen, you probably could use your finger to doodle as well. I mean, I doodle with my finger on the iPad. I have done that when I couldn't find my pen, which happened to me yesterday. The only problem with those magic pens is they're kind of like glasses for me. I need like 15 of them lying around the house because I misplace them all the time.
Eileen's asking, what if you don't have an iPad?
If you don't have an iPad, then you can do everything on PC, the PC version. You don't have to have the iPad. It's sort of a free accompanying app that comes with the software. So if you just have a laptop or computer, then you can spend $250, which is a lot cheaper than an iPad. I can guarantee you, just because I know I bought some iPads recently, and you can turn your computer into a pen tablet, which is I can't say enough. I mean, Daryl, you'll agree with me on this. For years, you've been using pen tablet technology,
Yeah.
and I have as well. I could never go back to a mouse, to be honest.
No.
Somebody was very surprised that you could keep the secret.
somebody was surprised I could keep this here. You have no idea how.
We've had several people ask, are there plans to have this available for Android?
Are there plans to have this available for Android? At this point, not yet. So I would have to say no at this point. Depending on how this evolves, it might be something in future versions that we look at. The same thing could be said for having a Mac version as well. We'll have to see how that sort of transpires. But again, you do not have to have an iPad to use the Design Doodler. You can run it on any PC to make it work.
Okay, Karen says, I have a Windows 10 with 16-inch HP pen graphics tablet and pen. Would that work?
It should work just fine. Yep. Thumbs up. We do have on our site as well. We do have, and I think that page went live right before we did this live. We do have, I guess, a little frequently asked question where we do give you the minimum requirements needed for your PCs, what speed and RAM and memory, all that good stuff that you need. And it isn't crazy, actually. It's not overwhelming. I know some programs recently have had some pretty substantial requirements to run it. This one isn't really that crazy. And also which versions of iPad you need to work with it. If you have an iPad that is 10 years old and won't take some of the newer installation update versions, odds are this will not work because I mean, my iPad is 3 years old and I was able to load it without any issue.
We've had quite a few people ask, is this a standalone product or do you have to have any other software?
It is a standalone product. It runs completely and all by itself, and you don't have to have any other software with it. That is why I wanted to make it really clear that you are not replacing or adding on to any software that you might own. This is not an editing, lettering, layout, or digitizing program. The Doodler is a standalone Doodler.
Okay. Does the tablet work as an additional computer screen or the embroidery software is installed on the tablet directly?
Daryl, did you understand that?
Well, there's two types of tablets for a computer. There's a computer that's actually a tablet and a computer together. And then there's what we use, which is a pen tablet, which is like a monitor that you draw on. So you have to load it onto a computer, whether or not it's a computerized tablet or a separate monitor. You still have to install it on your computer. The monitor is just the tool you use.
Yeah, and if you have a laptop that already has a monitor, you're actually just plugging it in as a second monitor that you're drawing on. So yeah, so it works pretty easily. And some of you might have, a laptop that does already have an existing pen. Like my Lenovo Yoga actually has a pen that came with it. I'm able to use the Doodler on that without any, added hardware at all.
Yeah.
Does it adjust for pull compensation?
Does it adjust for pull compensation? Not really. It's not 100% necessary because this software doesn't necessarily go down the same path that a digitizing program would. It's how would you explain that, guys?
I mean, with the editing, because Daryl, you've done with the outline, so you've really focused more on the full comp with your designs.
Well, the way I do my cartoon drawings, I can be a little bit, for lack of a better word, loosey-goosey with my fills because I use my outline to cover that up. But I have overextended a fill knowing that, there's needs to be a little bit of pull compensation. I mean, you got to know that for any embroidery software. But really, it's never been a problem. It's never been something that you have to think about all the time.
Yeah, I like your term loosey-goosey because the way I kind of feel about this program is this is an artistic program that, and in my opinion, when you're doing artistic merit designs, you're not necessarily looking for perfection. The imperfections are almost an added bonus to the realism that you're going for. I don't know. It's one of those things where if you look at an artist who draws things, it's very rare that you see all the lines meet up perfectly exactly the same. There's always some offsets and variances to make it artistic.
And that's how my style kind of evolved with that too.
Oh, sorry, Linda.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Is there a limit to size?
Is there a limit to size? No, I don't think so. You can digitize as big as your hoop goes, and there is
you got all the hoops in there too. So I mean, you got all the hoops, so you can make your hoop and then make sure your I'm sure John will show that in his lessons, but you can create your hoop and then fit your drawing inside it.
Make sure you're digitizing within your hoop size, and you can custom make hoop sizes. One thing that I did this, I'll do a video on this, and it will be something free on YouTube. But this is my daughter; it's her birthday. But her and her husband got married in here where we are, and it was a photograph, and it's one of their favorite photographs. So I just brought this photograph in as a backdrop, and then I did that little sketch around the outside. And this is, I don't know if you've ever seen this type of style. They actually do like artwork like this that you're hanging on walls where it's almost like just a colored rendering of an actual photo. And it was so cool because it took me like, I don't know, 10 minutes to lay this out. And if I did look at it really, really closely, yes, there's a couple of little kind of flaws that are there where if I was doing a design for Coca-Cola, I couldn't let it slide. But for this type of thing, it looks great, it sews great, and you're going to give it to a friend and they're going to love it. So
Okay, we've had many people ask, what design formats does the Design Doodler save in?
The Design Doodler will save in pretty much every it will save in a format for every commercial or home machine that's available in the industry. So does it write ART formats for Berninas or no, it does not, because they are very proprietary, but it will write DST or EXP, which those machines do read as well. And there is some commercial formats there, and I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, Linda. I can see.
I was going to jump in because I have no experience with this, but there are, I want to say 6 or 8 long arm quilting machine file formats. So if anybody's out there that has a long arm that wants to doodle, a continuous quilting pattern, you can do this in here. I would love to see somebody try that. So I've never had any experience with that, but that's another whole world too for people who have long arms that want to give it a try.
And you just totally stole my thunder there, Linda, but it's okay. That is actually something that is a gigantic added bonus, and this product will be huge. I mean, for people who are quilters and have the long arm quilting machines, we do export to numerous formats, and that's also on our website. Where if you're doing all those repeated patterns and running stitches and stuff, you can doodle them out and export them to your long arm quilting machines as well. So yeah, every machine that's out there, you can doodle.
Okay, another similar question. Lots of people are asking, how many computers?
How many computers? The way the license works right now is it is not an online license where you are releasing codes and all that good stuff. This is a program that does come with an actual serial number, and you can load it on 2 computers within the same household and your iPad app. So you can't exceed the 2 computers. If you do have I guess a computer that dies and you buy a new computer, then that's not an issue. We've worked with Pulse for many years with other programs. You will just call us, email us, let us know that you are needing another code because you purchased a new computer, and we will then get another code activated so that you can put that on a different computer that you may have replaced.
Okay, you said there was no maximum size.
Nope, no maximum size.
So it is a standalone program. Tablets, is it similar to working with freehand?
Is it similar to working with freehand? Yes. The only big difference is I took the freehand tools that I was accustomed to previously in my experience, and I made them easier to use so that you can continue freehanding without bad things happening. So yeah, the drop to anchor tool and some of the branching features and a lot of the stuff, be it with the tie-ins and tie-offs and things that are happening behind the scenes that you'll never really see, that's the stuff that makes this program work so well, in my opinion. So
this is similar to a draw your embroidery tool.
Yep, it's a drawing. I guess it's a drawing program for embroidery, if you look at it that way. Yeah.
Can you send from your iPad to the embroidery machine?
Can you send from your iPad to the embroidery machine? No, you can't. The iPad, and keep in mind, generating a program like this for an iPad that looks identical to the PC version and has pretty much all of the features the same wasn't an easy undertaking. The iPad version allows you to only save one file format when you do your designs. And a little side note as well, because I found this out, when you are doodling and if you're done doodling after an hour and a half and you've doodled a beautiful design, before you shut your iPad and put it down, make sure you just save that JDS file, and so that next time you open it up, if something happened, you ran out of battery or whatever, you don't lose your hour and a half worth of work. So it'll save JDS. When you save that, you can choose to, I guess, share it or by email or Skype or Messenger or however you want, and you'll share it to yourself, and then you'll open that in your PC version, which will allow you to save to all the embroidery file formats. So you do need to, and that's why it's a free accompanying app. It will doodle the same way, but it just creates a JDS file that you send to your PC to generate your embroidery file.
Does it include any marrow stitch?
No, it does not include the marrow stitch as of yet, but maybe that might be something in the future. You never know. That's a good idea. Write that one down, Jennifer.
How long is the offer open for? The 25% discount?
The $100 discount, I think Jesse put up for 14 days, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's ending November 7th, I believe.
November 7th, I believe, is when that. And right now it's a new product. We don't plan on putting it for sale very often, from what Jesse's told me. So it's not an expensive program to start out with, but take the $100 off. Add the $100 of education in there and all the support we're going to give you. I can promise you, if you become a doodler, we will not leave you to doodle by yourself. That's
Can it do curve fills?
Can it do which one?
Curved.
It does not do a contour fill at this point. Depending on how this goes, there might be future things that we build into the software program, but right now it does fills. But there is, I think, is it 6 or 7 different fill patterns that are built in? I think
four.
Okay, I'll have to take a peek, but I know that once you take those fill patterns and as soon as you start playing with the stitch length on them,
Yes.
then it becomes, yeah, it changes the look quite a bit. So there's a few fill patterns or fill types in there, but as you play with the stitch lengths of those fills, it will.
I made a whole my little sampler, and I've written down the stitch length. It does really make a difference, and then when you change the inclination points and the different densities, you can create a lot of different shadowing and shading to kind of give you the simulated.
To be quite honest, as far as a doodler is concerned, and Daryl, you might agree with me on this, if I'm going to try to create a contour look, I might actually use a base fill underneath and then take my pen and just squiggle some contour lines as I'm going through it and, kind of create those waves. And from a artistic point of viewpoint, you'll get a better artistic looking product by doing it manually. And that's the thing I love about it is fast. I mean, as fast as you can go with your pen.
Oh, there's no lag. That's one of the main surprises with me was there was no lag.
No.
It happened. It's quick program.
Well, let's put it this way. You're saying there's no surprise because at some points in our builds, there was lags.
Yeah. There was when we used working on the calligraphy.
Yeah, but that was one. Yeah, we got to it. We got past it, and I thank you guys for helping with that because it was a long, windy road, but it actually does perform pretty much live time. I mean, you're doodling and it's generating stitches.
How about SVG files?
SVG files? No, it does not save an SVG.
Well, I'll give you the one thing that I've found because I've been playing around with this. If you create a closed shape in the Doodler and you bring it into Hatch as an object, you can then create an SVG from that closed shape. I've just been starting to test this out. So kind of stay tuned and bear with me, but I'll show you some tricks on how to get that to work.
Okay, yeah, and keep in mind, Linda, you did kind of agree that you might be a member or help us a little bit with that Facebook group, the Doodler. Yep. Okay, yay. Okay, that was kind of pressuring you a little bit in front of all these people. But as we come up with new and creative things for this program, we are going to share them with you guys. I mean, that's the fun of this, and we have some really cool ideas to add, I guess, more artistic mediums like multimedia type of effects with this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yep. Awesome. Cool. Well, any other questions, Jennifer?
We have like 100 questions.
100 questions. Okay. Go ahead, Jen. Quick.
Can they order it as a gift? Yes, I'm sure if they want to maybe email into contact at Embroidery Legacy, Jen, Leanne could actually help you do that.
Yep, we'll help you order it as a gift. Keeping in mind as well, if you do order it, the serial number will go into your cart. And then when you register the product, I guess on the, it might be best if you call the office, just because we want to make sure that your email and your serial number kind of line up with each other. And that way we can make sure that we support you properly.
So somebody's asking, so you can have it on 2 PCs on one iPad, or what's the
quantity? You can have it on 2 PCs, and you've loaded it on 2 iPads, haven't you, Linda?
I did. I've got it on a Mini and on the Pro. So
Well, it'd probably be just like any other app. If you've got 3 different iPads, you probably can put it on each one.
Yeah, you could do that. And I guess the reality, and I got to be, I guess, honest and transparent about this, is that that JDS file format, the reason why the iPad only saves JDS is so that people need to have the program to output an embroidery file. So I'm pretty sure you can load it on multiple iPads, but you need to have the program to save for your embroidery machine.
Well, the App Store will only let you load it on multiple iPads if you have the same Apple ID. So there's no worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, will any of the upgrades be free, or how does that work?
If we find any issues with the program, which again, every software that I've ever come across in my 30 plus years of dealing with embroidery software, there will be issues. I'm not going to say that there isn't. We will handle those, work with the development team to get fixes done, and any of those, I guess, updates will be free. If there is some really cool, awesome things that we add in the future, which I have my wish list already, those will probably be paid optional additions to the program. So do you have to get them? Absolutely not. Will you probably want to get them? They're going to be so much fun. I'd say, yeah. So
Can you use a mouse?
yes, you can use a mouse. I personally would have, and if you're really, really steady with your mouse, then yeah, I'm sure you could.
You
Can I
could,
open this?
if you just have an iPad and a regular computer, then you just do your creation on the iPad, and then you export it out or share it, and then open it up in your program, and your mouse could be used to just do your fine detail
Yeah.
editing. Yeah, you could definitely make it work.
Yeah.
Can I open this in an embroidery editing program to add lettering?
Yes.
Yes, you could. Yep. You just save your file, your PS file, whatever it is, bring it into another program, add your lettering. And I should mention this as well. When you do get the Design Doodler, you will see a little letter icon there. And there are, I think, 4 different fonts that we
Yeah.
include. Okay.
That's one of them. And you
Now
can do Mylar too. So,
Yeah.
but yes, that's one of the fonts that's included.
Now, I will mention, though, that there is very, very, very little you can do with that font as far as editing the font is, is concerned. The whole reason why I had those fonts built in was because I thought of my grandson, and meaning that he isn't necessarily writing things clearly, but I knew that if he did a penguin playing hockey, I might want to write his name there and the age or date that he did it. So I wanted at least a very basic lettering option so that if somebody is doodling and it isn't necessarily done by somebody who knows how to write at that point, you could at least archive it and put it on the wall and know that Noah did that when he was 5 years old. Jennifer?
Okay. Can you only use the iPad if you don't have a PC, or is it necessary that you have to have both?
It is necessary to have the PC for sure. So the PC, it's a PC-based program, and the iPad is a free accompanying app to the PC program.
How do you transfer the file from the iPad to the computer? Is it cloud-based?
You can do it many ways as far as transferring it. I've just transferred it by Skype to myself.
I use Messenger and just send it to myself. So
And I use Dropbox, so I use a cloud.
Okay, so yeah, so any way you want, and within the iPad, it does give you all those options like any other app to show.
You can email the file to yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
And I know there's going to be a ton of questions after this, so we will try to get to as many of them as we can. And keep in mind, if you obviously in the Facebook group, the new Facebook group, we will be handling a lot of questions as well.
Yes, somebody's asking, with the iPad, how many designs will it hold before you upload it or transfer it to your PC?
And you guys might know better than I, but I found that when I doodle on my iPad and I save it as a JDS file, I've saved like I think 15 of them so far, and they come in a drop-down list. And then
probably more. I haven't run into an issue. So
but you do have the option to delete them as well. So I think it's just treated almost like your photos would be. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how
much memory you have on your iPad will probably dictate how much you can do.
That's true.
Yeah, and your drop-down list might become really, really long. But so you could, delete a few of them as long as you save that JDS file on your PC. Then that would, or in the cloud or wherever it is, then I think you're safe.
Mm-hmm. Do I use the same serial number for the app?
Yes, same serial number for the app as for the PC-based program.
Will this run on an AMD processor the SPC says genuine Intel.
I believe so. Yeah. Would you guys? I'm not quite that techie.
What's that?
I'm not.
What was? Can you say it one more time, Jen?
Will this run on an AMD processor? The
Oh, yeah, that's a
SPC
Windows-based processor. So
Yeah.
yes, it will.
Okay. Pricing, will there be any better pricing for Black Friday or anything?
There will not be. This is an introductory price, so if we do have it on sale on Black Friday, it would be probably the same price if it is. We kind of structured this to be before Black Friday for kind of good reasons, in that we aren't going to be discounting it any more than it is now.
Okay. I think that's almost everything. Again,
Awesome.
there's so many repetitive questions.
Okay, well, we will be happy. I mean, just if you are members of any of our groups and you have questions about the Doodler,
I guess real quick, if people have software, how do they import the Doodler file format into their software to edit? And
you do not import the Doodler file format into any other program. Kind of like the EMB file is specific to Hatch. There isn't another program that will open a true EMB file. The JDX file or S file has to be opened in the Doodler. You can save that file out to another file format and then open that into any software that you currently
It
own.
works great. I do that all the time. So
Yeah.
not an issue.
Cool.
can you add this to Chromebook?
Can you?
Add
Sorry.
to Chromebook.
I mean, a Chromebook I think would work as well.
Yeah, it's Windows.
Yeah, it's Windows based, and any Windows based platform should work just fine. Now we are going to give something away. It's not going to be a Doodler, guys, but I am going to give away a couple seats to our Christmas party, just so you guys know. So if you want to come to our Christmas party, we opened up a second time slot, which is 60% sold out. I'm kind of amazed because we sold out the first one and the second one's almost sold out as well. But just type in Doodle, I guess, if you do want to win a seat there. If you've already registered to the Christmas party and you do win, then you could give this as a Christmas gift to one of your embroidery friends. So that would be awesome. So we'll let people on Facebook and YouTube type in Doodle if you are kind of amazed with this program. And again, you're going to be seeing all kinds of videos, samples, education, things that we've done. It is pretty amazing. I was showing everybody. I threw this one again, the skulls. Let me get this a little bit smaller here. This one here. So I did this one, and I did this in 12 minutes. So it took me 12 minutes to do that. And that was just doodling off of some black artwork. This one was even a little less time. And one thing I want you to notice is that on the bottom here, where you see that, and can you guys read what that says?
Oh, that says copy. That is tiny.
Okay. So and I show you how to change the settings in the software to do stuff like that. But for people who want to do really tiny detail, I mean, this is the size, and that actually says coffee, and it is legible. So there is just so much fun stuff that you can do with the Doodler. I mean, I was just, this was the last time I was in Canada. I was actually a little, not bored, but I was playing with the Doodler, testing it, and I think I knocked out, it was like 5 different designs in a matter of 2 hours. So in this one, I did some blending with colors and stuff. So again, it's just backdrops. I'm not an artist. I cannot. If you ask me to draw a turtle freehand, it's never going to happen. But if you give me a pen and an iPad or whatever, and give me that, and I bring it in, I can turn that into stitches. So another question, Jen? Are we going to give away some prizes?
Let's call up the winners.
Okay, so we are going to call the winners, and thank you guys. I appreciate your joining me. I appreciate your being on this long, windy road with me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, because it was a year of testing.
It's been really fun.
Awesome.
Chad says, by the way, Chromebook runs on Chrome OS, not PC based. It will not run on Chromebook.
Okay, so it will not run on Chromebook.
Thanks,
Okay.
Chad.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, so who are the winners, Mrs. Deer, Mama Deer?
Bethany and James, can you guys grab me a name? Somebody did ask, is there a symmetry feature?
A symmetry feature? Well, you can copy and paste, and there is an alignment tool at the bottom and a whole bunch of stuff for changing things around. There is also, besides that freehand shape, there's a straight line shape.
Yep.
So if you're doing detail, and that does repeat as well based
Mhm.
on the anchor tool that what's it called again? I
The
came up with the
snap to
name.
anchor. Snap to
Yes,
anchor.
thank you.
The
Snap to
terminology
anchor
is the hardest thing about this. But doodling is so easy, but
is easy. But it continues with that line tool as well. But then there's also the other tools that are available too, as far as shapes are concerned. So there's
circles,
just all
stars,
kinds of
and
stuff.
then you can take a circle and you can change the node and make the circle a different shape. So there's a lot of possibilities. The more you keep playing with it, it's fun.
Cool.
Okay, we have our winner names.
Okay, so our winning names are, go ahead, Mrs. Deer.
On YouTube, we have Gerald Craig. So congratulations, Gerald.
Congratulations.
And you can email to contact@embroiderylegacy.com, and Leanne will set you up for the Christmas party. And the other winner on Facebook is Larry Starr. So congratulations, Larry. 2 men this time. Woohoo.
Wow. Okay, so congratulations, guys. We appreciate it. And again, if you have any Doodler questions, just so you know, you didn't just get the webinar, but we also give you the bonus designs as well. So you are getting a bunch of designs with the webinar. And of course, we do have our regular Facebook groups, which we have our Hatch Facts group, and we do have our Embroidery Legacy group as well. If you are going to have questions regarding the Design Doodler, please ask them more so in the Embroidery Legacy group, because our Hatch group is specifically for our Hatch users, and this is not a Wilcom product, and I don't want people to get confused. I mean, I think that's a fair, assessment. So if you have questions, please ask them in the Embroidery Legacy, or if you'd like to join the new Design Doodler group.
It's Embroidery Design Doodler Software Official Group.
Awesome. Then please just put in a request to join. And again, the YouTube, if you like seeing our videos, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, and we will probably be coming out with more than one video a week for the next little while, because there's going to be lots of doodling going on.
Quick question, are classes an extra cost?
Our class is an extra cost. The way I currently have done it is that we are having all of our education. Linda and Daryl have done their 3-part series, which is beginner, intermediate, and advanced, so that you're learning at a continuous pace. Those are absolutely free when you purchase the software. I do have 2 other artists that I have been talking to, and they are incredible, but also different than Linda and Daryl. And that's what I love about this, is every artist has a different style. So we, as uncreative or unartistic people, I'm not going to say uncreative, but for me as an unartistic person, I am going to learn from artists who are creative. So we are going to be adding more artists lessons in the near future, that I can say. And as far as my doing videos and content, I will continue to do that for free. So that is there. And if we do have any webinars in the future, the one that I'm doing in December is absolutely free. But if Linda or Daryl maybe are interested in the future on doing a webinar, I would love to entertain that idea. But we probably would have to charge for it, because you guys need to be paid, right? So
Cecilia is asking, what file formats will the artwork backdrop be imported with?
the artwork, I've been bringing in mainly JPEGs and PNG files. And I know that I am going to do a couple videos on that, because there has been some PNG files that I've tried to bring in that I guess still had the transparency on them, and it wouldn't allow me to. So I had to bring it in.
I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with PNG transparency. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've had 2 so far. I get a lot of artwork that I've had to go into Paint.
I don't know why, but
yeah. But I just went in, I opened them up in Paint, and then I resaved them again, and then opened them, and it was fine.
Yep.
So I'm not sure exactly why, but there's always a workaround. That's the thing with embroidery, is we're always looking for solutions.
Does it blend colors?
Does it?
Blend colors.
It does blend colors when you blend them manually with your pen. And as you saw with Linda's bird, you blended colors by using fills and doing all kinds of cool
This
stuff.
lesson will do color blending. This is the
Let me
third one.
just close this screen so you see. And
So we'll do color blending by layering different fills and colors on top of each other.
yeah.
And changing
So
them.
yeah, so this I guess I should be clear as well. This is not an auto digitizing program.
No.
You are still the creative person holding the steering wheel, or in this case, the pen, as you're creating things.
Jan's asking, does the mouse still work with the right and left clicks?
Does the mouse work with the right and left clicks?
The pen.
No, nope. Because on your iPad, yeah, you're just swirling, yeah.
And sorry, mouse.
The only thing that I've found. Sorry, does anybody have an answer for this? For the Zoom. Okay. The question was the mouse, the right and left clicks. Really, you only need the left click for grabbing the things and changing properties. But I have found that for the Zoom on the PC version, if you have that little spinny thing here, it actually zooms in and out by, so.
Okay. Somebody says if you use Boot Camp with your Mac and have Windows software, you can use it with Mac.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. If any of you test it on Boot Camp or on Parallels, let us know. But I see no reason why you would have any problems.
I think they are saying that you can.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah. And how do you get the lessons?
The lessons, when you do purchase the software, you will get an email from us with your serial number. And also, I think it's a login. I guess you have to log in or create an account on our site when you do purchase. And that will give you a classroom, I guess, access to our classroom. So in your classroom, all of the lessons will be there with the art files and the JDX files. So those will all be in your classroom.
Yeah, and when it's ordered, when anybody orders it, then they get the serial number to download it immediately.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I think that's
pretty much it.
Questions. So if anybody's interested, website is digitizingmadeeasy.com, and you'll be able to find the Design Doodler in the drop-down. And currently 25% off until November 7th.
Awesome. And I know that next week, same time, I will be doing another live, because it is going to be the contest, best contest, the Stitch to Win. We're going to be drawing the names for Stitch to Win. I'll be showing a couple things, and I'll probably do a little. I'm not going to call it Digitize Live, but I'll do a Doodle Live next week. So. Yeah, so we'll do digitizing live when I'm using digitizing software. We'll do Doodle live when we're doing doodling demonstrations. So, but thank you, Linda and Daryl. I appreciate your coming on. I appreciate you playing with the software. I'm really happy you like it, because this would have been terrible if you guys didn't like it.
I think we liked it right from the beginning. Even with the problems we were getting through, we still enjoyed the process.
It's
so much fun to use.
So much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is actually our tagline. And I said this right from the beginning. This program is embroidery fun for everyone. I mean, it's the frustration of learning the process of digitizing, which is wonderful. I love to digitize, and my whole career has been based around it. And if you want to learn, I'll help you. But this is just fun. That's the cool part. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Anything else, Mrs. Deere? Are we wrapping up?
What I see, it's a lot of repetitive questions.
Okay.
So I think right now we're okay. Again, anybody who does have other questions, please let us know. Embroidery Design Doodler Software Official Group.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate all you guys who tuned in to watch. And there'll be lots and lots of content and stuff coming up in the very near future.
And we hope everyone's as excited as we are.
Yes. And I know I said to Linda and Daryl, the whole Deere family is probably going, we're not bears, but we might hibernate for a day or two because it's been a little crazy getting all this together, but it's been so much fun. And I think that embroiderers are going to fall in love with this whole idea and process. Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. And we are good to go, Mama dear. Okay. Thanks. Take care, everybody.